Hello there and welcome back to Surviving Bedrock. So at the end of last episode we got all of our starter farming done. When I say farming, we went and hunter-gathered. We visited the village, we got some bits, we managed to collect quite a few saplings, enough stuff to start some basic farms, but also a load of coal and, just as important, a load of iron as well. So today's task is quite simple. We are going to convert my beach area behind us to a starter area. So what we're going to do, I think the first port of call here is we're going to remove all of these trees. I'm going to have a mass amount of wood. So we're going to go in and we're going to deforest basically right the way from over there all the way around to this area sort of here, I think, to give us an idea of how much space we've got to play with. And then we're going to have a look and see with the area that we've got how we're going to break it up and what sort of farms we're going to get down. So I shall see you in a moment once I have chopped trees, because you're not going to want to watch me chop trees. I shall see you in a bit, and then hopefully we'll have some plans laid out. All right then, so we have done some clearing. So we've opened up a reasonable amount of space now. And the plan moving forward is to convert this into my starter area. So I quite like this as being sort of the central part of my base, as it were. We've got this natural little alcove here where I can park some boats. There's a really cool sort of spaghetti cave that has risen up in the middle of this lake. We will show you it at some point, or I'll show you it at some point. But we're right in the middle of that. And so what I'm thinking is, my plan, as I said, was to tunnel through this bank of mountain. So I think that entrance is going to go there. And that will be through to the other side of those hills and where I'm going to be building later on. So I'm going to leave this area nice and clear. Now, the two real things, well, there's 4 things that I ideally want in a starter area. We need some basic crop and tree farms. Now, when I say tree farms, I mean an area to plant trees. So my little tree farm area is going to go over here. This is going to give me some wood. We've got this little raised section. There's a little river, a little inlet that cuts this off. So this is where my tree farm is going to go. I've just finished clearing this, as you can obviously tell. Waiting for leaves to die. So this is where my trees are going to go. Over here next to the trees is going to be where my crop farms are going. So all the way along the coast, I'm going to be planting sugarcane, something that you need. And then we're going to have some wheat and some potatoes. And once I lay my hands on some, we'll have some carrots on here as well. I've cleared out this little plateau bit here in this corner, and I think that's where one of my starter buildings is going to live. So it'll be right here. We're then going to have this central area, which is going to stay pretty much clear. There might be a few little bits and bobs, some proper lighting and stuff like that around here, but I don't see there being too much, because I think that's going to be where the entrance to this is, as we said. And then over here is where we're going to have our animal farms. So I say animal farms again, it's just going to be pens. So I've got this plateau again, another nice large flat area. We might trim some of this off. But I'm going to put a building up here, And then we'll have a sheep pen and a cow pen. I don't think we're going to do chickens. I don't think we're going to do pigs, but we might do it at a later date. But yeah, we'll have some pens over here for our sheep for wool and our cows for leather. We'll have our sugarcane for paper, all of that stuff that we're going to need later on. Now, these aren't going to be massively... they're just going to be bog standard basic manual farms in this area. We're going to make them look as good as we can. But this is just going to be some passive farming that's going on here. I'm not, going to be automating any of this. That will come at a later date. So yeah, that's the plan moving forward. I'm going to get on and get some stuff done, and we shall see you soon once it's sorted. All right then, so we have some basic farms set up. We're still quite early on in their development, as you can see, but we got some sugarcane growing on the coast down here. We will extend that further around as I get more and more sugarcane. I should probably do that now. I have my wheat and my potatoes. Didn't get really a huge amount of potatoes, so it's always one of those things with crop farms. You will start off with nowhere near enough and have to wait for them to grow and then plant them and wait for them to grow and plant them and double it all up before you actually get anything. But then soon enough, you've got a full field and everything just rattles in. Over here, over my little inlet, we have a bamboo. We have our tree farm. A rather nice wandering trader turned up with a propagal. So we have mangrove wood. I also have leads, but don't ask how I got the leads. So yeah, we have our little wood farm waiting for some more dark oak to grow. More spruce. And our bamboo over here. And then if we go over this way, right over the far side, we have our cows and sheep. Just two reasonable sized pens. We're starting to feed these guys up, starting to get them bred, so that we can then have a decent wool supply and some leather and stuff like that as and when we need them. So those are the basic farms that I'm going to need built and done. And the next job, I believe, is I'm going to stick a house right about here. I got quite a decent amount of space in here. We're going to put, these are going to be nothing fancy. They're A, starter houses, B, going to be in sort of the theme of the build. It's going to be sort of the poorer housing of that I'm going to build. So they're going to be quite basic. I don't have a huge amount of resources to work with. So it's going to be wood. It's going to be stone. It's going to be some wool probably. but that's going to be it. So that's going to go in there. And I think what we're going to do is, I think this is going to be my basic storage building, at least until we can get some proper storage set up, which won't be for a while yet. But I think this is where we're going to start our storage. So, yep, time to get some building done for the first build of the season. So let's get this sorted. All right then, so we have started the build. I was thinking that whilst I'm building, it wouldn't be a bad idea to sort of go through a bit of my building philosophy when it comes to how I might design builds and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a really good point to introduce how I build Minecraft structures in general. So for me, there are generally two types of building. You have a decorative building and you have a functional building. And the way that I design those are two completely designed strategies. This one is actually going to be a bit of a combination of the two. So being a starter build, the first thing that I really wanted in this building is my starter storage. So I went in and I laid out what I thought I would need for my starter storage. So we have just a boatload of chests, quite plain, quite simple. I came in, I laid down the logs to separate everything out. I put the chests in, laid out what I thought would be enough storage for me to begin with. This is not going to be the final storage, obviously. I'm going to have some sort of massive storage system wherever I actually decide that we're going to be building for the season. But just so that I don't end up with a massive chest monster and everything else, I can have some form of organized storage to begin with. So once I'd laid that out, that pretty much dictated the size of the building that I needed to do. I could go a little bit larger if I wanted to on this area, but this sort of size seemed to fit quite nicely. So then we put the bottom framing around all of this. So using my basic stuff, we've got some logs, we've got some wool from my sheeps over here, we've got some cobblestone. This then sort of fit around that original design for the structure. We put the front exit on because I didn't want just a plain box of a building, so we have this entrance hallway. I may stick some windows in here. It's not really big enough and I don't want to make it any bigger for windows, but we might stick some windows in here. Then we're going to go up to our second floor, and this is a little bit more freeform because I don't actually have any plans for up here. Being a starter house, there is going to be a bed, and we're going to have a furnace system in here somewhere. And that's pretty much all you need for a starter house. We've got the storage, on a furnace system, as I said. Now, my original furnace system is only going to be quite small, maybe even only 2 furnaces, just with some hoppers so that I can dump stuff in it and then leave it to furnace, as it were. And what I may do is change the structure and add the furnace system in at a later date once I've come in and worked out what this roof structure is going to look like. But yeah, so I'm just going to put, this is going to live in the attic. So this is going to be all roof at this point. But yeah, this is how I design a functional building. You build what the thing is, and then you sort of work your building out from there. If this was just purely a decorative building, which is what I think the one that's going to go over there is, you can build whatever you want. You haven't got to fit it around anything. So on that one, I would generally look a little bit more on sort of Google and YouTube and pick up videos that I like the idea of, and generally just mash them together. So I wouldn't just copy a build. I would take 2 or 3 builds and just mash those together. Or take, you know, the roof from building A and the block palette from building B and the layout of building C and sort of see how I could get it to wangle itself together. So that's how I normally design my buildings, and that's how we've got to the start of this one. So I'm going to finish this roof off now, see where we get to, and I'll come back and show you how it's done. All right then, so we have the core of the house finished. I've still got to do some detailing work. I need to set it into the environment a little bit better, but I'm quite happy with the core of this structure. What could have been quite a flat box has got a little bit of nice depth to it now. I ended up pulling the second floor out a block, using the staircases to support it, and then pulling the roof out another block, just to give it this stepped effect so it's not a flat structure. I think the roof line, that might be a little silly with the second extension on it, but I quite like it. I like the shapes that you get from it, without it being completely over the top. I do need to go in and do a little bit of detailing in the roof, just knock out the odd block here or there, change it so it's not completely flat, but we have a starter build. We do have quite a lot of decent storage in here. I did end up putting the windows in. Again, it just broke it up a little bit. And then when we go upstairs, there's nothing. I have my bed in the eaves just here, which again, we need to dress up. And I need to figure out where my furnace is. I think actually what I'm going to do is possibly do two small furnace systems in here. So we'll have one here for general and then one here for either a smoker and a blast furnace system, but something along those lines. And then what I can do is I can actually just build chimneys into the building on the outside, just to cover off anything that I need to dig out of the roof, but we can add that at a later point. So no, I need a little bit of detailing. I need to do a little bit of landscaping around the outside of the build, but we have our starter house at least structurally intact. I've been moving my sugarcane down as we've done more and more work over here, just to get a reasonable supply of sugarcane. I can now pick up over a stack of sugarcane just by harvesting what I've got just here, so that's decent. And my crop farms over the far end here are at least in a reasonable state. They're not 100% full, but they will be there on the next harvest. So we are nearly at a fully harvestable state over here. I got a line and a bit of potatoes missing, and I think there's maybe 1 or 2 pieces of wheat missing at the far end there. So we've got nearly 3 full fields of crops. We've got a load of sugarcane. We have a starter house. We have sheep. We have cows. I'm pretty much set, I think. So yeah, with all of that, we'll leave that for today. Thank you ever so much for watching, and next time well, I might get changed out of these clothes and actually get some armor going. So what we might do next time is possibly dig into this big old cliffside here and maybe even go mining. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.